Richard, Arkansas football got some good news this week with the commitment of Luke Brown. Just kind of tell us about what Arkansas is getting for the kid out of Paris, Tennessee.
He's a 6'6", 312-pound, four-star offensive lineman from Harry County High School in Tennessee who visited March the 5th, and that's when he got an offer from Arkansas, and they visited over the weekend, and he told Coach Pittman, Coach Kennedy, he wanted to be a Razorback, and he's a guy that plays with an attitude. He has a 3.94 GPA, but when he gets on the football field, he has a nasty streak, and I think as an offensive lineman, that's a must. I've seen some guys that have maybe played in Fayetteville that had all the talent, but boy, you just didn't see that nasty type streak that you need to have as an offensive lineman, and he has it. So, and what's quite to me, what's somewhat unusual, quite a bit unusual with Luke is he, like I said, he was offered March the 5th. I mean, a little more than 1 month he commits to Arkansas. He had 27 other offers, and he had some really good offers. So it's kind of quite impressive that Arkansas offered him, and they were able to close on him so quickly. That usually doesn't happen. That usually takes a lot longer to be able to do that. But I think Coach Pittman's background as an offensive line coach and his connection with Cody Kennedy kind of sealed the deal there.
Richard, we've talked about the possibility of finishing inside the top 15. If they were able to accomplish that in recruiting on the team rankings, what would that mean for Sam Pittman and this football program?
Well, anytime you get momentum that's good. That's good for your program. And then in recruiting, what that would signal, and with Coach Pittman, he said coming into Arkansas that, and I've mentioned this numerous times, that when he was at Arkansas, he thought he recruited pretty hard, but when he went to Georgia, he realized that under Kirby Smart, it's recruiting under steroids. You got to work it just relentlessly, and I think that would signal to Coach Pittman and the fan base that it's steroids. Recruiting's on steroids right now at Arkansas, and here's the end result, and we think we can do better, and that also gets the attention of other kids, in other classes that they had a top 15 class, and they're going to try to duplicate that or do even better in my class. So I'm going to motivated to take a look at them.
All right, this may be a dumb question, and you can just tell me if it is, but Garth Brooks coming in this weekend, do you see any effect on how it maybe helps the perception or the cool factor for Northwest Arkansas and Fayetteville and this campus that an act like Garth Brooks is coming here, so it makes Fayetteville, maybe takes it up a notch? Is there any kind of residual that you can see or feel, or has anyone mentioned it? Do they even know it's happening? Is there any kind of bump from this event that's happening in Fayetteville this weekend with recruiting and what they see of Fayetteville?
Tommy, that's a dumb question.
I thought so.
No,
all right, let me ask a dumber one. Hang on.
No, I did ask a kid about that last night, and he said, my mom, and he's visiting this weekend, he says, my mom might be interested, but I'm not much of a country person. I think if you like country music, I think that kind of gives you a little bit of a wow factor, knowing that 76,000 fans or Garth Brooks fans are going to be there, and it kind of, it's a big deal. I mean, he selected Arkansas to be one of his stops on his tour, so I think that's significant. But for guys that are non-country music guys, maybe not so. Now, if it was a rapper or something like that, maybe the response would be a little bit different. So.
Maybe, but probably wouldn't be 80,000 there, at least in our part of the world. But I just wondered because, there's some cool factor with it. I just didn't know if it, not necessarily that recruits were going to go, but maybe it just elevated the perception of, from the outside world of of things that there are to do in Arkansas. And if an act like Garth Brooks, an icon like Garth Brooks is coming here, well, maybe this place isn't so dull and boring like the outside world thinks of our part of the world.
No, I mean, anytime you have a big act, and it's kind of like the amphitheater at Walmart amphitheater.
Amp, yeah.
They have some good acts, and I think that's something that you play up. If you're at Arkansas, especially some of the acts that relate well to the kids, and say, hey, this is a pretty active venue. And a lot of times they have acts that are, appealing to your age group. So, anytime you can do that, you're right. You kind of build it up.
Well, imagine for anyone visiting this weekend, there's going to be a buzz around campus, a lot of things going on. It'll have a little bit different feel from a normal weekend this time of the year.
Well, and come Saturday, they're going to have quite a few guys on campus. You're not going to be able to have them on campus till too late, because you don't want to get caught up in traffic. So I'm sure the staff is kind of adjusting a little bit to that. So at some point, the ability to get in and out is going to be restricted, even though I'm sure that they would be able to somehow work it to where kids might have the ability to get in. But I'm sure that they'll show up early and try to get the kids' visits done by noon, 2 o'clock, or something like that.
Richard, a couple basketball questions for you. Anthony Black, as you said last Thursday, signed yesterday. When do him, Jordan Nick, Darian, Joseph, and Barry get to campus officially?
Most likely, and I talked to Anthony's mom yesterday, and I didn't ask, but most likely the first semester of summer school. I'm sure that's the case, unless their school is let out beyond that. I would imagine that the first semester, so a little bit after May, they should be on campus. I would think, unless there's some circumstances, they're a little abnormal.
Yeah, because that's it. That's what every high school graduate wants to do, is jump right into summer one immediately following graduation.
I promise their initial classes are not that bad. Last one for me, RD. Jay Wright announcing he's retiring yesterday. Coach K announcing he's retiring, and that's transition to John Shaw. Roy Williams transitioned out of it last year. Hubert Davis is taking over. That's 3 legendary basketball coaches all within basically a year that have called it quits. How much is that wheelhouse kind of right there for the taking for Eric Musselman, with some of the legends stepping out of the game?
I think it may help a little bit, but good gosh, I mean, Coach has shown the ability. He doesn't care who he's recruiting against, and this class here kind of shows that. I mean, I don't think it's a huge difference, because I think he's not going to back down from anybody. But I mean, it might make a difference to 1 or 2 kids here or there, on down the road. Where a kid, if it's down to Arkansas and Duke, and maybe he's been following Coach K all these years and is somewhat of a fan, that might be a situation that may sway him a little bit, but I don't think a major difference, because I don't think anybody's going to outwork Coach Musselman and his staff, and is going to be as detailed and has the ability to relate to kids as well as him. I mean, I just don't see it.
I may be dead wrong on this, but it seems like there's 2 kinds of established coaches. Ones that are embracing NIL and the transfer portal and the changes in the game, and then the ones that are retiring and saying, throwing their hands up and calling it a career. It just seems like we've seen guys like Roy Williams, Coach K, now Jay Wright, all exit the game, as the rules of the game have changed.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. And I was talking to somebody this morning about this, and the reason why I think with Musselman, nothing's gonna phase him as far as the changes with college athletics. The reason is he's always working. I mean, he sleeps 3 or 4 hours a night. Some coaches they have to have a little bit of downtime. I don't know. I don't know if Coach Musselman knows about downtime away from basketball. It's all about basketball, trying to get better, trying to recruit, and he sees the changes as an opportunity to outwork somebody and be more creative and how they approach things like that. So I think with Coach Muss, I mean, whatever's happened over the last 3 or 4 years and whatever's going to happen in the future, he's going to adjust better than anybody else just because he doesn't mind working. And there are some coaches that can be a little lazy with recruiting.
Richard, good stuff. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
All right, Richard Davenport, Arkansas Democrat Gazette, Whole Hog Sports with us on a Recruiting Thursday in the Morning Rush.
Is your number one source for all your betting needs, sports info, and odds. Find all the latest sports developments, including this week's odds for the Masters Championship and the start of Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on popular sports and games. BetOnline, where the game starts.